my knees are in front of me, which is nice. Welcome to this episode of Small Bike Stuff. Here we have the 1995 Honda Magna 50cc, bit of a parts bin bike, this thing here. It's got a whole bunch of parts from other small Hondas. Let's get stuck into it and talk about this model in depth. First things first, we've got the engine. This is a Honda overhead cam engine, so single cylinder, 2 valves, and that's about it. There's not much else happening there. These generally come with a kickstart and there's no electric start at all, but this thing here is electric start only, which is incredibly odd to see. There's your electric start button up there, which we'll get into the controls section soon, but this thing here has a big ball kit as far as we can tell. It's a lot more peppy than your standard 50cc Honda. It's got about 40,000 kilometers on the clock, so we believe that this thing probably has a 88cc kit. Here's the engine from the left side, and you can see the enclosed side cover there that actually encompasses the side of the the side of the electric start as well. We believe that this barrel is an aftermarket 88cc kit, possibly. Haven't been able to find out a dramatic amount of details, but if you know what that refers to, BBR, like if it's a brand or something, then let us know. Looks like the standard head and everything else is standard as far as we can tell, but it does have quite a bit of pep. Carburetors under here, your fuel taps there as well, so the engine's a small compact package, running a chain drive down to the rear wheel, and you've got 4 gears on a nice little linkage up there. 1 down, 3 up. Alright, let's jump down to this front wheel. This thing here reminds me of the front wheel on the Honda MBX50, which is a common 50cc 2-stroke that was used to kind of mimic the Bosozoku bike style. There's a few of them online that were for sale from Japan that have this front wheel that aren't this bike. They look completely different, and they've got those tall 3-tiered seats and all that kind of jazz. So this looks like it's from the Honda Jazz, and no, I'm not talking about the reliable 4-cylinder car. This is a Honda Jazz, or otherwise known as the Little American. And this is running a 130/70/12. You kind of really want a fatter profile, but they're harder to get in New Zealand at the moment, so it does look a little anemic on the rear end. But that wheel came from the Honda Jazz, which is another kind of Honda chopper, which possibly came out before the Magna, but I'm not entirely sure. If you can confirm, do let me know. Controls. So first things first, obviously you've got your left turn signal, high and low beam, left and right, and you do have a cancel here, which I was quite excited to see. Horn. On this side you've got your off and on, so your run, stop start button, and then you've also got your electric start button, which is here. You've got your front brake, which is a disc, which is awesome, and then you've got your clutch over here, because this is a 4-speed manual. Running down to this side here, there's a linkage from way under there, which is kind of hard to get my camera looking at, running to your shifter, which is way up front, so your feet are sitting in front of you, and it is quite a nice relaxed position, even though it's a small bike. Rear brake is as normal on most bikes in the world, and just sitting here on the right hand side, once again quite far forward. I mean, apart from that, there's just the lights. There's a standard headlight here, turn signals, which I think are stock. You've also got some lights here, so you've got your side stand light, your turn signal light, and your neutral light as well, with a Honda little badge kind of embossed or pressed into there. On the rear you've got 2 aftermarket turn signals, and we've also got your standard tail light there, so nothing too exciting at the back, but yeah, the controls are pretty basic. Before we get into the modifications, which there are a couple, it's really interesting to note that the Magnas, when they first came out, didn't really come to New Zealand. We did get a few 250s as imports, as far as I'm aware, and the 750 and the 1100, which were the big dogs of their day. This thing doesn't really need much work, because it's only a little 50cc 4-stroke, and that brings us to the first modification. I believe it's not actually 50cc anymore. This little doodacky here is your barrel, or the jug as the Americans like to call them. Inside there is your piston, and I believe the piston's a bigger diameter than normal, therefore giving it a bigger engine capacity. That won't really make a massive amount of difference for the top speed, but getting to your top speed that it does have, it increases the velocity in which we can do that, I guess is the best way to put it. This pipe has been welded on by someone, not the current owner, and it is what it is, and it works, so we'll leave it on there. It's very loud. It's kind of very loud and deep. It's got a deep rumble. It says HRC on the side here, and there's also a whole bunch of Thai characters along the bottom there. I'll see if I can get a translation on what they actually say, but I'm not sure where this pipe came from. It's been matte blacked. It is what it is. Yeah, it does the job, but it is quite loud. Let's start this thing up so you can hear it. Electric start only, so hopefully I can not do myself a mischief here. Turn the key on, my side stand light is on and my neutral light's on. That didn't work. Do you know why it didn't work? I've got the stop start button in the wrong position. So that's interesting. It will crank with the stop start button in the off position. Alright, let's put that choke back to off. So as you can hear, a fairly quiet 50cc 4-stroke Honda motor. It's definitely got a deep burble thanks to this pipe here, which is pretty much straight through, and it doesn't have many pops and farts on decel, so it seems to be attached properly, I guess is the best way to say it. I think, well, hopefully that wasn't distorting the microphone. It probably was. I did forget to mention the speedometer up here, which if you skip back into the footage, it's quite cool. It's on the tank, much like a lot of the Harleys did, or the Magnas, and yeah, 41,000 kilometers. It's got gear indications on the speedo as well. As you can see, my knees are in front of me, which is nice. All right, top speed run. Let's give it a hoon. There we go, 71.4 kilometers an hour, so definitely must have a 88cc kit or a big bore in there. It makes sense. It still had a little bit left in it, but I was running out of road. So yeah, 71.4 kilometers an hour on this manual 4-speed. The manual definitely helps. Being able to use the clutch when you want to is really nice. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. 71.4 kilometers an hour. Cannot complain at all. This is a Honda Magna 50, and this is small bike stuff. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like it. There's always more coming.